you doing?
Girl, listen, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
You look pretty.
Oh, thank you. You like my hat?
I love your hat. Gee, I wonder where you got it from. I think I was
Hmm.
with you when you did. That's beautiful.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Victoria Campbell, co-founder of the Black MS Narrative Project.
And I'm Mimi Cowens, co-founder of the Black MS Narrative Project. Welcome to our podcast, everybody.
Welcome, welcome.
Yes.
Yes, if you are new here, we are two Black female creatives who both have been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. And we've created a space to have conversations about how it impacts the Black community and our, not just those diagnosed by MS, but those that are living with us, our friends, our family, our partners, our doctors.
Absolutely. And we want this platform to foster healing and connection, okay? Especially for those of us who have been impacted by MS, but also, as Victoria said, our networks, our orbit, the people who are around us, who see us
Yes.
every day, who may have a story to tell. And
Mm.
ultimately, our goal is for the Black MS Narrative Project to become a movement. So please like, share, subscribe, send this podcast to everybody you know with MS and everybody you know who lives with someone with MS, because we want
Yes.
to spread awareness and joy as we talk about this disease.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right, girl. Well, why don't we start with this section of our podcast we call Human Being Check-In. This is an
Hmm.
opportunity for us to have a conversation about how we're really doing. We're not given that vanilla, that blanket statement of, oh, I'm fine, I'm good. And we smiling real, through the real.
Through the real, the
Real.
real. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you want to go first?
I, I'll ask, you want to ask me?
Yeah,
I'll
you
go
want to do
first.
your human being check-in first?
Yeah, I'll go first. Mm,
Mm,
I love that we have this space to be brutally honest.
yeah.
Um, Mimi, since we've had the opportunity to really talk, I've had what I will call just a real dip in, and I think even just a bout of some very real depression,
Mm,
very overwhelmed by the thought and the idea that, you know, in my husband's line of work, Brad he goes away. He's gone for X amount of time. In this case, it'll be 3 months. It's a good thing, right? And I keep telling myself it's a good thing. He's going to train for a new job, but that leaves me alone
right.
in my home with my two kids. And so I I've done it before. I've had to do it even longer than 3 months. But right now, and you probably hear my kids in the background every so often. They start school. They start school, but like
Look,
right now they're not at school.
this is real. This is the life of a mommy. So if we hear Langston and Peyton in the background, that's what mommies do. We multitask. Okay,
Yes,
but go
ma'am.
ahead. Hmm. I know that that's hard. I mean, even though you've been in this situation before, and he's getting a new job, and for those who don't know, her husband is active Army,
Hmm.
and so he is, what is it, PCSing?
Well, no, right now he's going to be training, and soon we will all be PCSing together,
Mhm.
and that means just
Okay.
moving to a new duty station.
So he's learning his new job right now. And in order to do that, he's got to go away to South Carolina for a while, which leaves you in Pennsylvania, many,
Right.
many states
So,
away by yourself. And that's
and that's
hard.
the thing, because like I said, I have done it before, and
Mhm.
even for longer periods. But the issue is, I was in a different space, right? We're constantly
Right.
in a different space, not just physically, but just I've been through a relapse or two since the last time I had to do it. I've had, different community, just all those things. So, long story short, in this past week, I just really was overwhelmed and depressed, and I felt defeated before I started. And but I kept smiling. I sure did. And I almost forgot that my smile wasn't real. I almost forgot that I wasn't talking to anyone about it until you and I had an opportunity to connect. Yeah.
And it was funny because we usually connect every week, and we have been missing each other. And of course, with it being summertime, of course, that's a time for family. And so you all were trying to take vacations and stuff like that. And I was like, listen, girl, we have to prioritize our connection so we don't lose our connection. What's going on with you? Something's going on with you. If you can't jump on the phone, then hey, we've got a Marco Polo channel. Send me a Marco Polo and I'll do whatever. And so when it comes to connection and community, right? Part of what really makes this podcast work and gel is the fact that I can feel when something is going on with you. Just like you can feel when something is going on with me, and you take me to the altar and pray for me as soon as you feel something is up with me, and I do the same. So, that's one of the reasons we do the human being check-in, y'all.
Right.
Because we want y'all to know that it's not just about that smile. Oh, I'm okay. We women especially, we throw that some lipstick on and act like everything is okay. And we have to be honest enough to say it's not okay right now. And so I'm so glad that things were able to get better once you had a chance to talk to someone about it. Because it's hard when you got your husband and then the kids ain't gonna understand. And so then you keep it to yourself. So
Right. And I didn't want to burden him with the things. So I really do appreciate that you did push past my smile and really reminded me that this is so much more important than we even realize, that God is doing some things and we need to allow that to take place. So yeah. So how are you? How is MeMe?
Oh Lord Jesus. Let's see. I am in a state of transition in my life where I'm gonna have to pivot some things. And change is hard. Change is hard. It's like, you want to be obedient and say, okay, God, whatever you say. I mean, he wants our obedience. You know what I'm saying? And he doesn't want us to have a temper tantrum in the midst of the obedience. So a lot of things are transitioning in terms of my home, in terms of my business, and also I'm in school again. And so, it's one of those things where you just have to sit back and say, I'm going to just trust him when I can't trace him. I'm going to just sit in this thing and know that God's got me. And that as we move toward the end of the year, by the time this year ends, there will be a shift in so many areas. So there's no need to get upset about it. There's no need to get downtrodden about it, because ultimately our mood and stress impacts this disease. And what has happened, I think for me, symptomatically, I'm finding myself way more symptomatic than I've ever been. And that has been an adjustment.
Yeah.
It's been an adjustment. I find myself at times mourning the fact that I can't wear certain shoes anymore. And I want, and because I'm afraid that I might fall, I got this alert, and apparently Apple will monitor the way that you walk, right? So I got to show this to you. This thing threw me for a loop, okay? Because I was like, dang, Apple, why you all up in my Kool-Aid like that? But I got this alert that said low walking steadiness. Your walking steadiness continues to be low, and you may have an increased risk of falling in the next 12 months.
Whoa.
I know, right?
Oh my goodness.
And I thought, wow. And it was funny because I could feel my gait changing.
Mm-hmm.
And I could feel myself favoring one leg, that one leg was dragging a little bit slower than the other in my gait.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt it shifting, but I wasn't aware of what it looked like, right? But then to get this alert that said, hey, your walking steadiness is on the low end. And we predict that in the next 12 months, you might have a fall. That thing did something to me. When I tell you, I sat in that for a minute, my heart started pounding, and I was just like, I don't have to accept that. But I do have to make some adjustments.
Right.
And I have to be careful with where I'm walking, how I'm walking, if I've got things in my hands when I'm going upstairs and things of that nature. And we're always doing that anyway, right? Like we're always trying to not fall.
Right.
Trying to not fall is a part of like our day to day. But like to see that in print like that kind of did something to me. But you know, I'm okay. Other than that, I'm okay.
Okay.
I'm okay. I recently went to a wonderful writers conference, and I am just motivated in many ways to create and imagine and accept that my voice has power, and that it also has the ability to help heal. My story has the ability to help heal someone else. So,
oh my goodness. I love that you just said that, because that is such a beautiful transition to the fact that we are telling MeMe's story today. We are, oh my goodness. I feel like we've been just working up to this point that it's been long overdue, that we need to tell this story. Yeah. So let me go ahead and today we are going to be interviewing a wonderful woman named Amelia Cowens, also known as MeMe. She is the co-host of the Black MS Narrative Project. I have a bio. MeMe Cowens, co-founder of the Black MS Narrative Project and podcast, was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 2015 at the age of 43. She resides in Raleigh, North Carolina, but she is a native Hoosier from Gary, Indiana. In 2022, she was led to participate in a 3-day personal developmental workshop called the Landmark Forum. Now, if you've seen some of our earlier podcasts, we talk a bit about the Landmark Forum and just what that's done for both of us. But at that time, as she went through this forum to overcome some past traumas and help her move forward in the world, that's where she and I met. And that's where we learned that we both had MS. Excuse me, my dog's in the background. We got the kids, we got the dog.
Lily never barks.
No, she sure doesn't. I don't know what that is. Okay, good girl. Good girl. Everything is just fine. So that's where we learned that we both had multiple sclerosis. And so not only were we two Black, beautiful women, we learned that we had multiple sclerosis and that we were both creatives. And that led to conversation where we both would love to help. We wanted to help the African-American community and those that are living with multiple sclerosis.
Yes.
So, oh my goodness, I love this bio, and I just, I'm gonna keep going. Can I keep going?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep going. Okay. She is, as we both are, but she is a Black female creative who believes that art can help heal and that storytelling is a powerful art form. Hence, the Black MS Narrative Project was born. In her day-to-day, MeMe is the CEO and owner, of Bliss Face and Body Studio in Raleigh, North Carolina. In addition to being a licensed esthetician and makeup artist, she worked for more than 20 years as a public relations communications strategist. She's also holds a Master of Art in Strategic Communications from American University and a double bachelor's, not just one, a double bachelor's of arts in communications and African American studies from Indiana University. For over a decade, she was the media spokesperson for the North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences in downtown Raleigh, and on-air radio and TV personality and broadcast journalist in the television news markets, spanning the Midwest to the Southeast. As a survivor of both the 2009 H1N1 and the 2020 COVID pandemics, and a current MS survivor and thriver, she currently turns to theater as her pathway to faith, growth, survival, and healing.
Well, thank you, girl. I didn't expect you to read all of that, but come on, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. I give him the glory.
Yes, I love it so much. We we don't big up ourselves enough, and so I love the opportunity to do that for you, to really help shine this light on you and who you are, this beautiful, wonderful woman that I have been blessed with the opportunity to do this project with. Well, come on, let's tell your story.
Okay, I'm ready.
Yeah. Let's start with. Okay, excellent. Okay, so my first question for you is, when were you diagnosed and how old were you?
So, I was diagnosed in 2015. I was 43 at the time. And what kind of led to my diagnosis is that for like 2 years prior, I just started feeling these odd sensations in my body. Like I had gotten vertigo.
Okay.
And I had like maybe a 3-month bout of that. Woke up one morning, like I always do, getting ready to go to the bathroom. As soon as my feet hit the ground and I started walking, it was like the whole world started doing this. Like a kaleidoscope. And I was like, whoa. And I was spinning. I thought I was about to fall and hit the wall. And I started hollering, screaming. And I was like, oh my God, what's happening to me? You know, went to the emergency room. And they didn't diagnose it as vertigo at the time, but they told me that the symptoms seriously looked like vertigo. That led to another appointment with the ear, nose, and throat doctor, because really what that is an imbalance of the crystals on the inside of your inner ear. So I learned a few techniques to kind of like hang your head off the side of the bed in the opposite direction of the spin and all of that stuff to kind of like knock the crystals back to the other side. And then I took a lot of like, motion sickness medication. And really, to be honest, the only cure for vertigo is to relax, and my doctor gave me a 2-week notice, like a doctor's note, for me to be excused from work and put me on every drug possible to make my butt stay still. Ambien, Valium, Xanax, like,
oh, wow.
He was like, lay down. That's the only way you're gonna get rid of vertigo. And I got better, but there were a few bouts where intermittently I'd get the sea legs, like baby legs, toddler legs, like I was on the wall, and I'd have to grab the wall. And so then that ultimately passed. But then what's funny is that vertigo happened on the back end of a 3-day migraine. I was when I was at the assistant director of communications at the Museum of Natural Sciences. That's when it happened. And I was getting ready to plan the Bug Fest Critter Cook-Off. That was a big deal. Every year, Bug Fest is a big deal at the museum. And I had these judges, these celebrity judges, these celebrity chefs who were going to cook with the bugs. So like the cook-off was huge, right? And it was a lot of moving pieces, and it was under my tutelage, under my charge.
Okay.
So my migraine for 3 days. And then the back end of that migraine, vertigo hit. So fast forward past the vertigo.
Now, what year was this when that first vertigo happened?
2013.
Okay.
2013. And so then what happened was, after that, intermittently, the spins went away, but I would feel like I was going to fall. Like the sea legs would come. At that time, I was still, I still had my mobility. I was still wearing 6-inch heels. I was still active, working out at the gym. but every now and then I get the sea legs. So I told my doctor about it, and she says, okay, well, let's just keep an eye on it. See, first of all, when you get diagnosed for MS, it's never an instant diagnosis for nobody.
No, that's why I asked, when did the actual first episode happen versus how long it took to actually get this diagnosis?
Honestly, I can't pinpoint when the first episode happened, but the things leading up to the diagnosis were vertigo, sea legs, and then a lot of weird sensations inside my body. So after the vertigo passed, I started feeling this little flutter. I describe it as a flutter. It's like, imagine 1,000 butterflies on the inside of your body, go from the top of your head down one leg, and it just goes. And I was like,
it painful?
No.
Okay.
It was fluttery. And I was like, what is that? What is that sensation? So that led to one MRI. She says, let's do an MRI. The first MRI was on my brain. And the result came back saying that I had abnormal white brains. Was it white brain, white cell? Abnormal white brain matter. Yeah. Abnormal white brain matter, but that's not necessarily MS, right? It was like abnormal white brain matter. But let's get another MRI of the neck, right? They should have just done both, but So then once they did the neck one, and that one didn't come immediately after the white brain matter, it was kind of like, okay, let's just keep an eye on these symptoms. Then, because the flutters just never went away, I said, something ain't right. I think we waited another year. And so then I got the one on my neck, and that's when I had lesions all in my cervical spine. And that was the first time I heard that I had MS. And, at first I wasn't devastated. And I think part of why I wasn't devastated is because, again, I was still living a very normal life, and I wasn't impacted by much. In fact, I didn't even medicate for the first 7 years.
Wow, that was going to be my next question. Are you on when did you start a DMT? And you're saying it wasn't even until you were 7 years in.
I didn't medicate for a couple of reasons. My husband and I at the time were trying to conceive. And I had done my research on a lot of the medications, and I just wasn't fond of the biologics and the side effects, right? So I was just like, if I'm trying to do fertility treatments, possibly these DMTs aren't the drugs that I kind of want to interfere with a fetus should I be able to have a baby. And because I would have been considered a geriatric pregnancy, because I was, over 40, I was just like, let's just hold off on that, right? But it wasn't until COVID, right after George Floyd died, the stress of the pandemic, the stress of watching that Black man killed on national TV, the stress of the riots, the stress of, and the work that I did at the time was in advocacy and activism. And so there were people in my network that were out on the front lines, getting tear gas. Of course, because of the disease, I didn't go out there because we have a compromised immune system, and I didn't want to be in, close proximity to a huge group of people because of the, COVID. And then, I underwent a very devastating termination from a job that I'd had at WRAL TV. It was high profile. It was, the N&O did an article about it, and there was litigation, and that's a whole nother story. But there was a lot of stressful things that happened in 2020 that really stressed me out to the point where I was getting excruciating headaches, more painful than I'd ever gotten. I mean, I had migraines before, but these were different. They were clustered. They were everything. So then the doctor put me on Solumedrol, which is a very strong liquid form, intravenously administered
Steroid.
steroid.
Mm-hmm.
Note here on this platform, I will never take Solu-Medrol again. It
Okay.
really, it works for some
Mhm.
people and they love it, but for me, I had devastating side effects. I felt worse. I didn't have the headaches, but I just felt worse in my body, and the drugs took a long time to kind of work themselves out of my system.
Mm.
Um, and then
Now,
after that,
sorry to cut you off, but so was it you had seen a neurologist at this point because you did have your diagnosis?
I
And
was
it was,
under neurologist care from 2015 on. I didn't go see them annually. I didn't have regular appointments, but it was at this time that I was calling again because I was like,
yes.
something's wrong with me. And then after the Solu-Medrol, my doctor, Dr. Scagnelli said, look, he said, look, girl, it's time to stop playing Russian roulette with this
Mm-hmm.
disease. He said, the closer you get to 50, this disease rages out of control. We need to get you on a DMT or
Yeah.
disease modifying therapy. And
Mm-hmm.
what I love about Dr. Scagnelli is he presented me with all of the ones that he recommended. And he said, I'll let you pick it. Do you want to do this orally?
Wow.
You want to take this pill? Do you want to inject yourself? Do you want to inject yourself, or do you want to come and do intravenous? Do you want to do twice a year? Do you want to do once a month? And so I chose Tysabri. So I've been
Wow.
taking Tysabri now for almost 2 years. I'm
Mm-hmm.
52 now. So when all of this was going on, I was 49
Hmm.
and I hadn't hit 50 yet, but the disease was starting. I was starting to feel it.
Okay,
For
so
7
you
years,
felt that shift that he said would happen at 50.
I did.
Mm.
And beyond. So
Okay.
from I'd say in the last 2 years, my body has experienced a great deal of change as a result
Mm.
of this disease.
Wow. So you would say that DMT decision or your decision to go on a DMT was a good one. That
Mm.
wound up being a great decision for your journey with this multiple sclerosis.
So I'm going to say yes, because what I didn't want to happen was the disease to progress.
Right.
Now, prior to taking the Tysabri, I am my spa is a holistic wellness spa. So I tried some holistic remedies. I used to do IV nutrition. I go and get like a drip.
Okay.
Um, and in that drip would be everything from magnesium to B12 to really the biggest thing that I wanted in that drip was glutathione. Glutathione is a very powerful molecular restructurer, and in some
Mm.
studies has been shown to slow the progression of the disease. So prior to getting on Tysabri, I was doing IV drips with that in it, which can be costly. It's not covered by your insurance.
Right.
And then I even got a vial of it, which was $300 that I was injecting myself. Actually, my ex was injecting me because I couldn't. The needle was too big, and that kind of helped me, right?
Okay.
But at a certain point, those things, your body is doing different things, and I knew that these drugs would slow the progression. What I didn't know is that even though the progression of the disease can be slowed down, and praise God, I haven't had any new lesions in 4 years, maybe one. I think I had one new
Mm.
lesion, but I haven't had any enhancing lesions, which means they're firing off
Right. They're
inside.
active and
They're active. What I have experienced is a change in my body symptomatically. But
okay.
that doesn't necessarily mean that the disease is progressing. And that's hard for some folks with MS to kind of grasp, because it's
Hmm.
like, wait a minute, my gait is changing. I now have to use this cane. Um, I've got a what's called a pathologic muscle spasm that spasms all the time in my back.
Right.
I've taken shots. I've taken gotten nerve blocks. I have just really experienced a lot of things that actually impacted my ability to work out. That
Mm.
caused a lot of like stress for me from a mental health space that hurt
Yeah.
me physically. I gained some weight. And I was mad because it's a cycle, right? It's like I want to
Mhm.
work out, but I can't because I'm experiencing these symptoms.
Symptoms. Mhm.
So it's like, okay, then I have to take more medication to combat the symptoms. And then it's like, okay, all right, now I'm not spasming. Should I go work out? But then you're like, I don't want to work out to the point of causing a flare.
Pain and
So
yeah,
there's
things.
constantly these mental gymnastics in your head when it comes to this disease. And I take about 30 pills a day
Wow,
to feel normal,
wow.
to feel
No,
normal.
so you said that earlier that your symptoms were not impacting your ability to work, to do your job. And so now that you are noticing that your gait is changing, you're needing to sit down a little more often, that things are changing, in what way is it impacting your work as the owner of your spa?
It's a great question. I'm gonna tell you something. I get up. Uh-oh, little gnats in here. I get up about an hour, maybe 2 hours before my first appointment
Mhm.
to take my medications, to do some stretching, to pray, because I know that if I don't do those things, it will be very difficult for me to perform the tasks
Right.
of aesthetics, of body contouring. Body contouring in particular is a lot on my body as I'm manipulating women uh,
Mhm.
with wood therapy and other, ultrasonic cavitation and other modes where I am massaging lymph and doing post-op care on women. There there are things that there are days like you have those good days where you don't have any pain,
Mhm.
and then you have those days where you do have chronic pain. And I just typically work through it. But I'm fully aware that when I say a shift is coming, a shift is coming. I'm going to have to. I am very mindful of the fact that I am going to have to find a duplicate of myself in
Yeah.
order to push the work of my spa forward.
So you're saying that you've had to change your preparation before you can even
Mhm.
perform or do what you need to do
Mhm.
just to get through the day. But you're also noticing that that's not sustainable. It's not
In the
sustainable.
long
Yeah.
term, I know that it's not going to be, but I am making modifications right now. I'm taking fewer clients
Mm-hmm.
because it's just me. I don't have anyone working for me anymore. So, I'm taking fewer clients, and I'm spacing them out so that I can rest.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just not pushing myself past the point of exertion. And when you work in a field that does involve you having to use your body, when you have this disease, I'm gonna tell you something. Not only did I not medicate, okay, I didn't tell anybody
In the beginning,
in the
those first
beginning.
6 months.
Nobody knew. I kept it a secret. You almost feel shame,
Mm-hmm.
or you don't want anyone to look at you a certain way. Um,
Yeah. How
yeah,
much of that do you think
fear.
is from our upbringing, our cultural just norms, right? Just we, and then and I think
It
some of.
factors in. You want to be this strong black woman.
Mm-hmm.
Here's see my cape on my back. See it, because I think I can do everything.
Yeah.
No, the myth of black girl magic. That's a myth. We're not magical. We're human.
Yeah.
So we have limitations in our bodies, and especially as women of a certain age, we have to be very mindful of the things that we do, and we have to take care of ourselves. When you hit 50, you are literally half a century years old. And that's a hard, like, you don't want to even say that out your mouth, but I'm gonna tell you something. You and I might not look it. but I
Girl, you
sure
don't.
feel it some in my body. So, and I'm not the only one. I remember my best friend and I were talking the other day, and you know, we're both Leos, and August is our month,
Mhm.
and we were just going down the list of all of our ailments. I said, boy, if somebody was recording this, they'd be like, how old are y'all? 190, 70 years old. I mean, folk dealing with diabetes,
Yeah.
high blood pressure, high cholesterol, back issues, bulging discs. I mean, I'm just like, oh my God, I don't want my latter years to be like that. So,
Mm.
I am mindful of what I eat. I'm mindful of, even though, so if I can't move my body the way that I used to be able to, what are the things that I need to change in order to get a calorie deficit to, get the weight down? You have to be mindful.
Right.
And because this is a disease of inflammation, you cannot feed the inflammation with a bunch of sugar. So it is important to have a healthy diet as well. But yeah, and being a beauty-based professional, you don't want to talk about, at first I didn't want to talk about this disease because it was like I didn't want people to think, mm, what's wrong with her? And
Yeah. Yeah.
but I've learned, and you and I both know this, there's power and healing in our transparency. And when you tell your
So true.
story and you talk about what you power through in order to prevail, that helps others to keep going.
I think I love the fact that you are talking about how modifications and making these modifications to your life doesn't mean that you can't still do what you want and need to do.
Mhm.
You never said I shut down my business because I couldn't do like I used to. No, you're making these changes, and we, like you said, we have to go with the flow
We
because
have
we,
to.
but at the same time we can't feed. We have to recognize and be mindful so we're not feeding the inflammation, we're not worsening the situation, we're not changing for the worse in the things that we can control, because there's
Mhm.
enough that we can't control.
Absolutely.
It's
I
too much.
mean, part of what really helps you get through this disease is having a mindset shift.
Mm.
The mindset is probably one of the first modifications that you need to
Oh,
focus on. It's
yes.
like, okay, either I'm going to walk in feeling defeated, or I'm going to walk like, okay, well, I got this disease, I can't do this, or I can't do that. No, let's talk about all the things you can do
Can do.
and the things that you cannot do. That's just no longer a part of your life. But it's okay. It's a shift.
It's a shift.
It's a shift. But it starts with being honest with yourself. You have to be honest. You can't push yourself past the point of what it is that you can do. And
Yeah.
and that's where those modifications come into play, as well as having a mindset that says, I am a thriver. I am a survivor. I have this disease, but this disease does not have me.
Say it again.
Honey, I said, I have this disease, but
But
this
this
disease does
disease
not
does not
have
have me.
me. And I've done and I'm a researcher, but I mean, like, I am a nerd. Okay. I really spend a lot of time
Nothing like that.
trying to understand what's happening. And in my studies and in my research, I've learned that we all now know, right, that this disease, because it's like the first thing people want to do is know is, who else in your family got this? Do you have a history of this? Da, 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 da. No one else
Mm.
in my immediate family has MS but me, and I'm the baby. I'm the
Wow.
baby of the family of
Mhm.
my sisters, right? But I was exposed to the Epstein-Barr virus when I had mono at 16.
Hmm.
And so, what are the studies saying right now, right? That everybody, a lot of people, what is it? Everyone that has been exposed to the Epstein-Barr virus may not develop MS, but 100% of the people who have MS were exposed to the Epstein-Barr virus.
Yeah.
Is
It's
that not crazy?
It's crazy. And I love that you are doing this research and staying on top of it and wanting to understand. I think too many of us are just, we hear the diagnosis and then we just
Shut
hear what
down.
the doctors say and then we just write. But having that understanding helps with the mindset shift.
It
It
does. And
really
having a good
does.
relationship with your neurologist. Having a
Mm,
really good relationship with your neurologist, and also knowing that you have to be an advocate for yourself. And if you don't have a good relationship with that neurologist, get you another one.
right. You can always change.
You can
Yeah.
always change. And if the medication that you're on isn't working for you, you can always change it.
Mm,
For now, Tysabri is working, I guess. I haven't had new lesions,
yeah.
but
That's amazing.
I stress the fact that you have to have a mind that says, I am going to win
Hmm.
at all costs. And winning looks like a lot of different things. Today, waking up and being able to mop my floor is a win.
Right. What does winning look like?
What does winning look like? Okay, I can take a lap around my subdivision today.
Mhm.
That's what winning looks like today. I'm not going to let this disease beat me. I'm going to win, but you have to be willing to define those wins on a daily basis, cuz your wins change every day.
Absolutely.
Every day.
Mm. That
Mhm.
is so good. And that's money right there, right? And in so many ways, just if we can understand the power of the mind, right? The Bible talks about it so much
Right.
that we have to set our mind on the things of God. And
Mhm.
God is not going to have us focusing on what we can't do or what is limiting us. Absolutely not. Mm,
But you know
love
what you
that.
also have to do? You have to open your mouth, and you have to let the people around you know, okay, these are the modifications that I have made in order to perform certain things that you have asked of me. Like, for let's say you volunteer,
Mm,
or you sing on the praise team like I do, or you serve in ministry, or you serve in some other capacity. The people around you have to know that you may need to sit down, that there may need to be chairs. In fact, perfect example, went to that writers conference. The chairs, normally when you have banquet style, you have hardback chairs.
mhm.
Okay. For whatever reason, in the room that we were in, the chairs all reclined back. Like every time you sat, they weren't straight up. They
Oh,
moved.
it has some give
And
to it.
it had a hinge to it.
Mhm.
And my back was, I couldn't sit. It was an all day. Like we were in
Mhm.
there from 10 to 4. And I was like, my back, I had taken like 1,200 milligrams of ibuprofen. I had taken my Lyrica. I was hurting. And one of my church members went to the banquet manager and said, can you please bring a hardback chair for her? And he brought a chair for me. When I sing on my praise team leader, Brother Marcel, I love him. He said, if you need to walk off this dais here and go sit down, then that's what you need to do.
Yeah.
Because when you sing on the praise team, you're standing for a very long time.
Right, right,
Okay.
right.
And so on those days that I know I have to be standing for a while, I do mentally prepare. I pray. I do wear waist trainers, not only to reshape my midsection, but to compress the pain sometimes so that I
Mhm.
can stand erect for longer. There are things like I have a contraption corner.
Mhm.
I have though the big thing that vibrates. I've got a belt that's got heat and vibration on it. I got this thing that looks like a kidney bean. You lay on it, and it's got like
Mhm.
shiatsu massage. Like I got all the control. I got these things that you put on your feet that
Girl, you're
compress.
gonna have to do a recording just of these contraptions because they all sound
Honey,
amazing.
I do whatever needs to be done in order to not hurt. I'm not
Mhm.
going, and honey, I'm a pop a pill. All them folk out there talking about, I don't want to take. Look, I ain't gonna be hurting. I'm gonna take whatever I need to take. I'm gonna
Right.
lay down.
Don't suffer.
I'm gonna lay on my massage thing. My sister Judy bought me this long mat. It's got like all of these. She even sent me a TENS unit to
Oh, I
like
love
put
those.
on my back and like send the electrodes in there. Look, I ain't gonna hurt. So again, you have to have a mindset of there are gonna be some days where you really can't deal.
Mhm.
Lay down, cancel your appointments, call your whoever, let them know I am experiencing a flare today.
Yeah.
I am not able to attend, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
You've got to be able to advocate for this body, because if you don't, then you're going to, it's going to overtake you. And mentally, on those days where you hurt, it does something to your head, because your body is willing.
Yeah.
I mean, your mind is willing, but your body cannot do what your mind is saying it can do. But then what's funny is 24 hours the next day, totally fine.
Yep. Other side of
This
the coin.
disease is so unpredictable. It totally fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so interesting that you say that, because that was actually the reason, and we might have to have a conversation with somebody that understands the application for disability. But I applied and they told me that I did not qualify because I have good days.
What?
I'm like,
What?
but I told you what my good day is like. Even it's not. Listen,
You talking about Social Security disability?
yes.
Because you have some good days. So what, you got to be on death's door in order to get? Girl,
Or
I
all
can't.
my days have to be bad. I need to be continuously and it's like, I yeah, I think that just needs to be a whole nother conversation, because I
Yeah.
know that there are some people that have applied and won, or gotten through into the disability, and everybody's symptoms are so different, and how that
Yeah.
even looks. So
That's
oh my
crazy.
goodness. But
That's crazy. Yeah.
yeah, I love that you have this corner, that you have these things set up for yourself, and you can't apologize for needing these modifications.
No.
I think that's what
No.
I'm hearing and seeing from you is, I talk to this person, I talk to that person. I don't apologize, and they will have to
They'll make
work.
accommodation.
Yeah, they have
They'll
to
make
work.
accommodation for you. In fact, I remember like at Southwest Airlines in particular, you know how you get they're about to go to assigned seating, but you know how you go to A, B, and C group. There have been times where I've gone up to the ticket agent and said, I'm really experiencing an MS flare and I'm in the C group. Is there any way I can pre-board? And they will make accommodations.
Yeah, they will.
And they let me pre-board because I may need a little extra time to just get to my seat. If I'm in a particularly large airport like Dallas,
Oh, I do a wheelchair.
honey, in a heartbeat now. Raleigh's airport is pretty manageable, so I can walk to all my gates here. But like Chicago Midway, that one is borderline. I almost need a wheelchair there, but O'Hara, absolutely.
But
Dallas, Fort
I
Worth,
used to try, but
Atlanta.
I don't anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just because I also know that I'm gonna need that energy for when I get, especially traveling with kids.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
but my goodness. So I do want to know, because you're single, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what has the dating life for you been like, having this condition?
Well, MS or not, the dating pool is very interesting.
Okay.
You know, I have met some amazing folks, and I've met some not so amazing folks. And the thing is, you got to get past the hurdle, the first hurdle of like really letting them into your life. The before you even let somebody know you got MS, figure out all the other stuff if they're worthy of even being in your proximity. And getting to that, from meeting someone to then going, okay, this person is in my proximity. Okay, now let's share some things. Okay, well, now let me share something with you that I can trust you to hold, right?
Right.
But I think it's important to get to know people first. I have had some very meaningful relationships, and I have a meaningful relationship now, but it is that person is someone who I trust implicitly, but that took a while. It took a while, but I can imagine that for women who are dating, there is always going to be this burning question of, when do I share that I haven't messed with this person? And I think you get over the hurdle of really getting to know the person first, because at the end of the day, everybody got something they dealing with. Everybody. And I mean everybody. Somebody might have had a knee surgery or diabetes or something. Everyone's popping a pill. We are in America. Everybody popping a pill for something.
Yeah.
And so in fact, I know someone who was like, and the thing is, a lot of disabilities are invisible, like MS or having vision issues for some folks. They can't see out of one eye, legally blind, but they pretend because they got one. Honey, everybody got something.
Mental health things going on.
Mental health. Oh my God. Everybody and their mama's on an antidepressant. So, I mean, everybody has something. So don't feel shame around this disease, and reveal it when you feel like you can. And if they're not worthy of getting to know the innermost parts of you, don't tell them nothing. Don't tell them nothing. Get to know them first. Make sure they're worthy of you. Then you start to share the intimate parts of you. That's my advice,
Yeah, I think that's really interesting in this world of social media, where people are putting all their business,
all their business.
And it's, and I think that's becomes kind of your prerogative, right? What have you decided to put out there? And so for those of us that don't have available to everyone that they have this condition, especially in the dating world, I love how you said that it is part of your inner self. Like
everybody doesn't deserve to have access to the innermost parts of you initially. No. And I mean, it's not stopping you from being able to live. I remember, look, MS is no longer a death sentence. It is no longer a death sentence. Women and men are thriving, living, successful, still doing everything that they used to do pre-MS. There are folks with MS running marathons. So whatever. You can, this is, I mean, look at Halle Berry. Like, oh my God, I just watched that new movie with her and Mark Wahlberg. It's so good. The Union. She has diabetes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Very vocal about the fact that she has had diabetes for years, ever since she made her debut on the acting scene. That girl is in such amazing shape. She doesn't let the fact that she's a diabetic impact anything.
Oh my goodness.
Now, I'm sure that on set she has to take breaks or whatever. And guess what? They're gonna make accommodations for Halle Berry. They're gonna make, and so Halle ain't no different from us. Okay. Ask the people in your orbit to make accommodations for you. They will.
Yes. Yes. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, MeMe, I feel like we could just keep talking on and on. You are such such a beautiful spirit. You have so much to offer. And I have all the questions, but I know we have to get ready to wrap up soon. I just want to know, because you've just been dropping these nuggets left and right. Is there anything else that you just want to leave our viewers with? Just what can you share that to impact those that are watching?
Don't stop. Don't stop living. Don't stop striving to be the best versions of yourself. Take the good days, take the bad days, and keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. You know, I've got aspirations that have not come to pass yet, but I'm a firm believer in the power of your voice. Faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. If hearing yourself say certain things enters into your ear gate, you're going to believe it. You're going to receive it. I'm a firm believer in affirmations. I'm a firm believer in talking to myself, especially on those days where it's really hard. And sometimes you got to just look at yourself in the mirror and say, I refuse to let anything or anyone make me doubt myself. Incredible things are happening in my life. I can trust my heart to guide me. I deserve to feel safe. I am wonderful. I believe everything happens for a reason, and I am free to go and do whatever I want to do. You have to talk to yourself. The sky is my limit. I have goals and dreams that have not yet come to pass. But I also know that, and this is something I want to leave to. I'm a firm believer in like angel numbers. And ever since this year began, I've been seeing 11s everywhere. 11, 11 on the clock, 111. In fact, at the beginning of the year, I got a letter on that was dated 11/11/23, but I didn't open it until January 1/1/1.
Oh, wow.
And my student loans were 100% forgiven, like $164,000. So there are some things coming to pass for me. I looked it up, right? 11 is a very powerful angel number, and it means that what I am thinking right now is manifesting. My thoughts are manifesting. You know how powerful that is to know that the things you're thinking are manifesting before they even come out your mouth?
Wow.
So if the things I'm thinking are manifesting, imagine how much more is going to manifest when it comes out of my mouth.
Wow.
When I say it. So affirmations help you to believe that anything is possible, because anything is possible. Don't stop. That's all I want to leave with folks. Don't stop living. Because I'm not going to stop living until the good Lord say it's time for me to stop living. I'm going to keep living. Yes. Go where you want to go. Travel where you want to go. Remember our past guest, Eve? She's a professional traveler. That's her life. She just came back from the Olympics over there volunteering in Paris.
Right.
MS ain't stopping her. MS ain't going to stop me.
MS ain't going to stop me neither.
Ain't going to stop you either. So that's all I got.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, MeMe, for sharing part of your story. Again, if we had another couple hours, like we would do it. But if you like what you are hearing, there are 2 ways to support us. You can like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, our Facebook, our Instagram, our socials. We would absolutely love to hear from you. We'd love for you to comment, to ask the questions, to share your story. Do you want to share your story? If you do, then please go ahead and look us up. Go ahead and email us at the Black MS Narrative Project at gmail.com. In this email,
please send us an email. Now, I'm going to be honest, y'all. Please be patient with us. It's summertime, and what we're learning as we're growing is that likely when the more that this project and this movement progresses, we will probably take the summers as a hiatus so that Victoria and Bragg can take the kids and they can have family time in the summer. We'll probably just record enough to kind of sustain us through the summer, but y'all, we're just getting started. So please be patient with us. We will get to your emails. Okay. Yes. And also please donate to us. You can Cash App us at $ the BMSNP. And just send us a little love gift, honey. Send us something because we need to pay for StreamYard. You know, we need to pay for our, Chat GPT subscription. We need to, get our 501c3. All those things cost. And as you know, I'm a small business owner and entrepreneur, and Victoria is staying a stay-at-home mom, supporting her husband who's in the military. And so we need your support. And so please help us, because we need it, because we want this to become a movement. Yes. And we want to be able to get y'all some merchandise. We want y'all to be able to get these wonderful tumblers, some hoodies, some t-shirts, all that. It costs money. Okay.
It does. Well, thank you so much. We are so excited to hear your story, MeMe, and we continue to share just through our conversations with others. Everyone, we are so excited to hear from you. Yeah. Let's heal together.